Megyn Kelly is livid. The Babylon Bee posted an article that says Megyn Kelly gets rid of old pager just to be safe, implying that she is friends with Hamas terrorists. She hates Israel and she hates Jews and all that stuff. And the Babylon Bee deleted the article. It is now gone. The left was cheering them on, saying, "Yo, Babylon Bee, I did not recognize your game." Now, many people are saying that the Babylon Bee realized this stepped over the line. Many others are saying, what's the problem with the joke? And, of course, the implication of the joke is that Israel will kill you. I love this. I don't believe that the Babylon Bee deleted this article. This is an archive, by the way, from Web Archive. You can see in the URL bar. I don't believe they deleted this because they offended Megyn Kelly. They have no problem offending Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, or otherwise. They will make these jokes. So why then delete this one? This one. Because the implication is Israel kills American critics. I know. And the pro-Israel people are like, Tim, no, stop. Guys, the joke here requires two subsets of information. Two pieces of information for the joke to land. Megyn Kelly is an anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, or otherwise, or is associating with them, and Israel kills people who oppose it. Now, of course, the pro-Israel side is saying, no, Tim, stop. You can't say that. They were only targeting Hamas, and the joke is just that she would have received a pager from somebody that Israel may have intended to kill. Once again, the argument or the joke rests upon the idea that there is at least a perception Israel murders innocent people. That's why, in my opinion, the Babylon Bee deleted this article. But hold on. There's a bigger picture here, and I'm what did I describe it as yesterday? Demoralized. And I'll tell you why. Donald Trump does this interview where he says there's no talent in America. You got to bring in the H-1Bs. We need the Indian workers. And I was like, ugh. And he says he's going to give 600,000 visas to Chinese students. There is so much wrong with this. Wrong. And the argument is from the Trump administration, Tim, we have no choice. We don't have the people to do these jobs right now, and they have to come from somewhere. So we have displaced the low-skill laborer with Honduran farmers and Tren de Aragua members. And now we're going to bring in mid-tier to high-tier workers. And that's an argument. That's not even the real, that's not even the reality of it. The argument is we need mid-tier workers to come and fill these roles from India. But wait, we're not going to train Gen Z or focus on American laborers. We're going to bring in Chinese students to train. And Trump has already talked about granting citizenship or visa access if you are a college grad in this country. And it's not a bad argument. I'll give you that. The idea that if you come here and go to school, we don't want you to leave. We want you to keep that information here. The problem is when you're expanding these programs and you're offering Gen Z nothing. And so that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Gen Z is fracturing. They're breaking away from Trump. And what we are getting at the highest levels of the right is this absolute buffoonery. These people have all beclowned themselves. Now hold on there, gosh darn minute. I will say, you're allowed to criticize who you want to criticize. And just because people focus on what you are doing, it's not the fault of you for talking about it. People are going to say, Tim, you did a video about drama too. Like, I've got no beef with Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens over their choosing of the content they want to produce. I have a general issue. This is how I think and feel right now. And you guys comment below right now. Let me know what you think. And you can tell me I'm wrong. But what I'm saying is, emotionally, how I feel is that it is depressing and demoralizing when the top trending stories are drama over stupid Babylon Bee jokes, Candace Owens true crime drama fiasco, and people are going to be like, Tim, that's derisive. How dare you? Whatever. I don't care, dude. Candace Owens has a massive show. It's tremendously successful, and it's turned the Charlie Kirk assassination into a true crime podcast. I'm not a fan. I think it's cringe, but she's allowed to do it. And who am I but a man who complains on the internet? Shocked and surprised are all of ye who see me complaining about something else. But that's why I don't tell her to stop. I'm not going to. You're allowed to talk about what you want to talk about. I'll defend Tucker's right to interview Nick Fuentes. And then I get people saying, Tim, you need to tell her to stop. No, I don't. She's allowed to say what she wants. I'm more demoralized seeing that what people truly care about is arguing over Israel and watching true crime conspiracy theories over Charlie Kirk, of which it's all crackpottery. Sorry, like there's great stuff that Candace has brought up and other people have brought up and pushed back against. Respect for that. You're allowed to talk about it. But when you get people saying there's a man hiding in the bushes who fired a bullet that looped around behind Charlie and hit him in the neck, I know they're not literally saying that, but I've actually had the debate where they're like, Charlie was shot from behind by a man hiding in the bushes in front of him. It's like, what are you doing? You know, what they're doing is click farming, and it's just, it's brutal. And I got to be honest, I am not a fan of how TPUSA has been handling this. I feel like with all due respect, I feel like they're struggling without Charlie. And I think what we realize from all of this, or at least what I can say, Charlie was holding this together more than anybody realized, which is why I think they killed him. And I don't think Israel did it. Certainly, there's always an argument for lesser probable outcomes and why you may believe that to be the case. And that was always allowed. But you look at the aftermath of the assassination of Charlie Kirk and you have the right fractured, Trump's off message, pissing off Gen Z. Charlie Kirk was rallying young people. And now, again, with all due respect, it really does feel like even with Turning Point's growth, there is a fracturing from TPUSA and whatever this other element of the right is, and even the moderate, disaffected liberal types who had aligned with the right. I don't even know what's going on anymore, who's doing what. It seems like Charlie really was holding this coalition together. I'll tell you this. We went to, we had Timcast IRL at Turning Point the last 3 years, and Charlie moved mountains to make that possible. And it's because Charlie recognized we are in a different space from he and from, Tucker and these other groups, that there are your cert-wearing conservatives. There are your white-collar, blue-collar, different coalitions on the right that have come together. And Timcast is a disaffected, urban, liberal-centric show and whatever. That's the view, right? That most people who watch are going to be your disaffected liberal types. Charlie brought us all together. He even brought Cenk Uygur on stage because he was building a coalition, and they killed him. So let's do this. Well, I'm going to give you the breakdown of where we're currently at over this silly argument, but I will stress this point. This joke from the Babylon Bee, Megyn Kelly gets rid of old pager just to be safe, presupposes, for the punchline, Israel will kill innocent people on accident or otherwise. Israel may kill its critics, which is what a lot of these people are arguing they did to Charlie Kirk for not supporting them and for propping up Tucker Carlson. And that Megyn Kelly hates the Jews and Israel to the point they'd be willing to murder her, or that she would fear that. This is a stupid joke. It's stupid. I'm sorry. You can laugh at it. I get the joke you're making. But again, for it to be true, Megyn Kelly the joke is that she fears Israel will murder her for aligning with critics of Israel. That's not a good joke if you're pro-Israel. If you're anti-Israel, I think it's actually, you kind of nailed it. And the funny thing is, Megyn Kelly, of course, is offended by it. Or she said WTF, so I'm assuming she's taken offense to it. But I wouldn't be offended by it. I'd be like, well, I guess people really do think Israel murders their critics. That's what they say about why Charlie is dead. But you want to play that game, this is what you get. Now, this all stems from a variety of stories, but we'll go through it. Here's the Babylon Bee satirical article, which was deleted, and I have the web archive. They say political commentator Megyn Kelly quietly tossed her pager in the trash this week in what her team described as an abundance of caution. After being drawn into controversy online as part of the ongoing debate with the political right over the U.S. relations with the nation of Israel, Kelly thought twice about continuing to carry her pager with her everywhere. Ms. Kelly has no fear that she's in any danger from platforming anti-Semites, but out of an abundance of caution, we advise her to throw away her pager. They're saying Israel will kill you. That's why they deleted it. Okay, here we go. So Ben Shapiro went on the Megyn Kelly show, and he called out Candace Owens. Megyn Kelly responded, and now we have this article. Here's what Ben Shapiro had to say about Candace Owens.
For example, Candace Owens. I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But what?
Because
like I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were
this is so cringe. Listen, Megyn Kelly's response to this, I'm not saying Ben Shapiro is right, it's what's the right word? It's weak. It's weak. Oh, I'm not the mother of the internet. I don't comment on this. Oh, what are you talking about? Ben Shapiro's right. Like, we all comment on everything. Now, I'll be fair and say I pull my punches a little bit if the person has shown in the past to be truthful and aligned with the right direction of this country. Meaning, I don't blame Megyn for saying, well, hold on. Like, I don't know if I'm going to rag on Candace because I haven't seen exactly what she says, and she gets the benefit of the doubt from me. She's been right on some very important things. I think she's been wrong on some things and said some shocking things, like this viral clip of her saying TPUSA had to have been involved in some capacity. But let me play more.
On the left, and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk, yes.
Okay. Like I said, I don't take in that content, which is an honest statement. I don't have time to watch Candace's show.
I believe you. But the point that I'm making is that
that
friendship should not, in our business, I think it's important. Listen, friendship should not trump.
We don't even know each other.
I understand, but even with Tucker, friendship should not trump our manifest requirement to speak out when people do and say things that are both detrimental to conservatism and morally wrong.
Okay, so I don't totally disagree, but I think the way of handling that, at least for me, is much different. So I saw things go south between you and Tucker.
All right, so here's where we're at. Ben Shapiro said that, let me see if I can find this clip. I had it pulled up, and let's see. Let's do this. Insiders. Candace has claimed on her show that insiders were involved, and let me grab this with there's a bunch of clips of this. I should have had it pulled up. Let's see. Let's do Candace inside jab. And then I don't know if I think that's what their Candace claims Israel is blackmailing. Whoa, this is from 10 minutes ago. Trump over Epstein. I'm not surprised by that.
That request went out in mid-July.
Okay, here we go. Here's the clip, and I'll play this for you guys, and then I'll show you what Ben Shapiro is referring to.
We look at the calendar and we see that request went out in mid-July. It drives me insane. It just screams at me that this was an inside job, okay? This was always a circumstance. This was not a special thing that happened. They would always say they would get requests in spring that they couldn't make happen, and then they would sort of roll them over and revisit those campuses, trying to hit all of the corridors of the United States the following semester, which would be in the fall. They would go back, we look at the calendar, and we see that request went out in mid-July. It drives me insane. It just screams at me that this was an inside job, okay? This was always a circumstance. This was not a special
inside job. There's actually another clip of this, but I think here's Megyn Kelly's response to Ben Shapiro. But here we go. This is so from that clip, inside job, and there's another. Let's just do Candace, TPUSA, insiders. There's another clip where she says a little bit more than this, but let me see if I can find that. And okay, what is this one? TPUSA, Erica Kirk isn't implicated just because Candace never actually says the name Erica. I'll play this clip for you in a second. So Candace Owens tweeted on September 13th, 3 days after Charlie Kirk was killed. Bibi Netanyahu also spoke about how he called Charlie 2 weeks ago to invite him to Israel. That phone call is lacking context. He should provide the proper context of what and who inspired him to make that call and exactly how Charlie replied to the invite. Cernovich says Charlie was about to lose his last major donor because he refused to ban Tucker Carlson from events. There were a lot of people shedding crocodile tears. The billionaires must be exposed for the cretins that they are. Everyday Man responded to Candace Owens saying surely his wife knew all this. She'd have been there when he was feeling pressured and upset. She would know exactly what's going on. Candace replies, Erica knows everything, which gives us two potentialities based on subsequent comments from Candace Owens. Not necessarily that Erica is involved in it. Well, actually, I should say there's three parent potentialities, but a million possibilities. One is that Erica was well aware of what was going on with Charlie and Israel and the anger at Charlie over Tucker Carlson and these text messages that Candace has released where Charlie said that he might abandon the pro-Israel issue. Erica was aware of this. She knew everything that was going on, and following his murder has chosen to stay out of it, say nothing, and continue to just do what TPUSA is telling her to do. The second is that she knew everything and was involved. She knew everything that was going on, and TPUSA being involved in some way, how could Erica not be implicated? And that's what I think Ben Shapiro is leaning on. Now, Candace hasn't explicitly stated this, but the implication is that if Erica knows everything and you're able to book venues well in advance, before Charlie was killed, this is one of the arguments, is that how did they get the stadium so quickly after Charlie was killed? Erica knows everything. She would have to be one of these insiders. And the argument is, if Erica is now in charge and running this and presenting awards and getting awards, and TPUSA got a venue at a stadium a week after Charlie's death, but they booked it before Charlie died, and Erica knows everything, what is the implication there? So you can argue that Candace didn't mean to imply that Erica was involved in it. And I would just say, certainly when she said the phrase, Erica knows everything, I don't think that was the implication. She was saying Erica knows everything about Charlie's conversations and Israel and what's been going on. However, when you subsequently say they could not have booked this venue, how is that possible? And it's an inside job. The implication that Erica is involved. And I don't know exactly what this clip is. I can't find the other one that I had pulled up. It was an extension of the previous one. But Natalie Jean Bijou said, quote, we wouldn't have to make assumptions that TPUSA would just be honest. But Erica Kirk, the CEO of TPUSA, isn't implicated, right? Just because Candace never actually says the name Erica, it's all good between them, right? Make it make sense. She's so clearly implicating Erica Kirk, who's been silent on a lot thus far.
Clear, we're not here to make assumptions, okay? And we wouldn't have to make any assumptions if Turning Point USA could just tell the truth. They could just be open and they could be honest about everything. Okay, I obviously went out to both Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvett for a statement, asked those two questions. Hey, who were you on the phone with? What's going on here? No response. Weird. Because if that was me and I saw clips going viral and people were drawing conclusions from that clip, thinking that I was already on the phone, thinking that my reaction was weird, I would instantly hit back. I'd say, here's my call log. You want to know who I was on the phone with? 911, obviously. I was freaking out. I called 911. I didn't know what I was doing. Here's my phone. Here's my whole call log for that day.
No, because when Andrew Colvett confirmed the text messages from Charlie were real, Candace just went forward with it and exacerbated things. PR 101. So this is my counter to Candace Owens' argument that they would just release it. No, PR 101 is don't add fuel to the fire because nothing you can say will actually make this stop. I'm not saying TPUSA is innocent or otherwise or whatever. I think that the evidence points to Twiggs and Robinson, and what we are not being told is more likely related to leftist terror, which we've been experiencing for years, and not that Turning Point killed the guy who made all these people wealthy. That it's just a weird leap to me. I certainly can understand the arguments of the messages being strange, and there's questions about what really happened. All of that is fine. Totally acceptable. I'm friends with 9/11 truthers. You're allowed to ask questions. A good journalist will. However, the conjecture, the argument of, if you were innocent, you just publish this. When Candace put out messages from Charlie where he said, they're pressuring me and I may have to drop, he says, leaving no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause, that was taken as evidence that Israel murdered him. And Colvett said, yes, it's real. Let me address it. Here's what was going on. What he said did not matter. Now, I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong. You can believe whatever you want. I'm saying adding fuel to the fire is PR 101 no. And I'm not a joke. It literally is PR 101 no. They literally tell you if you can say nothing, say nothing. Because anything you say will increase the duration of the story.
But this is, I don't know. I guess we live in a world where that doesn't make sense. I would have issued a statement. to dispel any rumors, but they have not. Here's what I want to say, and I honestly understand I'm preaching to the choir here. Everything about this is wrong. You know it, and I know it. But I actually know it better than most because I helped build that organization. And that's why I am almost the perfect person to discern what is normal and what is abnormal in terms of what happened at that college campus event. In fact, when I did my tribute to Charlie, this is unbelievable.
I mean, let's just be honest. Come on, guys. This in this bit from Candace, she's literally tearing down TPUSA, accusing them of being involved. Erica knows everything. Come on. Okay, back to the principal point here. Megyn Kelly's response. Candace says, "Thank you, Megyn Kelly, for clarifying that Ben Shapiro quite literally lied to your face." Here's what Megyn Kelly said.
He said that Candace has been claiming Erica Kirk was behind the murder of Charlie, which I had not heard. And I was taken aback because that seems like something I would have heard. It's so crazy. And I have since learned it is not true. Candace has not made that claim. And in fact, I've now seen several clips of Candace specifically defending Erica Kirk and saying she would never make a claim like that about Erica, and that she is open-minded to other people at Turning Point. That's obvious. She's been making that point. I had heard that point.
Let's just be real. Let's be honest. For one, I think it's fair to say that Candace has probably subsequently pointed out she's not implicating Erica Kirk. So Erica doesn't know everything. After that point, the argument would be Erica is currently in charge of and running an organization for which the murderers of her husband work. She still employs, is not investigating, and they're currently working with her and Charlie's children. The whole thing is just insane. And I'm not saying insane wrong. I'm saying if that's true, holy crap, Erica Kirk is running an organization with Charlie's murderers and she has no idea. Heaven help us. Someone's got to get Erica out of there. I mean, honestly, if that's really what's going on. So what's the story?
But she's specifically been defending Erica Kirk, and she's been saying she does not think that of Erica. And in fact, if you read her comments, she's under pressure to make comments about Erica. And so far, what I've seen, she hasn't. So thank you for that question.
And then we have this response. "Oh, please, you quite literally implied that she and TPUSA were involved. You play these word games to manipulate and gaslight people, and Megyn Kelly should do some more research. This is why conservatives are divided, because these other influencers refuse to acknowledge your vile behavior." Well, this is the clip I actually just played.
Look at the calendar, and we see that request went out in mid-July. It drives me insane. It just screams at me that this was an inside job, okay? This was always a circumstance. This was not a special thing that happened. They would always say they would.
Candace is trying really, really hard to burn down Turning Point USA. You can argue that she's not, but I always take a look at actions over perceived intent. What is Candace Owens doing? Claiming that there were insiders at Turning Point USA that were involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. She said Erica knows everything. But with Megyn Kelly's statement, she's no, not Erica Kirk. I defend her. The implication, of course, then is the main argument is Erica Kirk has inherited an organization after her husband was assassinated over refusal to support Israel. And the people who organized his murder are still at Turning Point USA and have been involved the whole time, even booking a venue for Charlie's memorial before they killed him. And Erica has just had no idea what's going on. Okay, I guess. Anyway, this is where it gets really interesting, because I know this started with the whole Israel argument, and then it brings in this whole thing. Well, the argument is that Israel killed Charlie over his refusal to support them. And this is where we're currently at. Here we go. Babylon Bee deletes satirical article joking about Megyn Kelly pager explosion. This is a trending subject now on X. The Babylon Bee published a satirical article on November 13th depicting journalist Megyn Kelly discarding an old pager out of fear it might explode like those in Israeli strikes on Hezbollah, but removed it after backlash. Kelly expressed outrage on X, tagging CEO Seth Dillon, while critics on various political sides condemned the piece as a veiled threat amid tensions over Israel criticism in conservative media. The incident highlights rifts in the MAGA movement, including Kelly's defense of figures like Candace Owens against deplatforming by pro-Israel advocates such as Ben Shapiro. I'm so over all of it. R/Destiny, you know him, you love him. I'm sorry, Babylon Bee, I wasn't familiar with your game. Are they pro-Israel? Like, what's even going on? Indeed. So here's my tweet. I assume they deleted it because it's more offensive to Israel than to Megyn Kelly. The joke implies Israel assassinates Americans for criticizing them. You got everyone's favorite DeSantis guy, fake account run by cartoon avatar Max Nordahl, saying the joke is that Megyn Kelly has IDS, Israel Derangement Syndrome. And I wrote, and that Israel will kill you. He says the knock beep solely targeted Hezbollah terrorist pagers, not political commentators. Kelly has been aligning herself with Owens. Israel kills its critics, conspiracy theories lately. So this is making fun of her for that. She used to be better at getting the joke. Yes. But the issue with the knock beep is that Israel did not know where the people who had the pagers were when they all blew up, killing tons of people, causing collateral damage to civilian restaurants, businesses, and causing injury to random civilians. In order for this joke to land, there has to be a highlighting of Israel killing people. And again, I understand what Nordahl is saying, that Kelly is paranoid they will kill her. Again, it still presupposes a large subset of people fear Israel is murdering its critics, even in the United States, and it highlights the claim that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. This just, whatever you want to argue in defense of the joke, I actually think it can go either way. And if you are someone who really does believe these things about Israel, you'd be like, yeah, Megyn, like the joke could be, Megyn Kelly actually has a reasonable fear that they'll murder her. That's the point. Well, my friends, the right can't decide if it's okay to hate Jews, from Mother Jones. Vox, the GOP's fight over Nazis is about who controls the party's future. What is this one from Axios? Candace Owens, Israel allegations derail MAGA unity over Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I think so. I think Candace Owens' past couple of months have been some of the most demoralizing. It's been some of the, women love true crime murder mysteries, and Candace Owens has effectively combined true crime murder mystery and news and derailed the conversation. Listen, like I said, there are people telling me, well, we should call her out and tell her not to do it. People can do whatever they want. Candace is allowed to make the show that she wants, and it's big and prominent because she has found something that resonates with people. And what's demoralizing is that people care more about that than the visa issue, than the immigration issue, than everything that's going on. That's just a reality. That's my emotional state right now. I watch this and I'm like, it always breaks my heart when liberals lie and people fall for their lies. It breaks my heart when people care more, or I get people who say outright, Tim, I used to pay attention to politics, but I just can't do it anymore. It's bad for my mental health. And I'm like, we need people who are focused on the crisis that we are experiencing. And what I feel like right now is the anti-intervention side of things has been derailed by all of this. A large portion of people who are like, we should not be involved in these other countries. And now it's Israel killed Charlie Kirk and they'll kill you too. And I'm just like, sure, I guess, but can we focus on Ukraine too, Afghanistan, Iraq? Trump's talking about going back in Afghanistan. I guess not. So this is where we're at. Great joke, Babylon B. And be mad at me, whatever, that's what I do. I'll complain on the internet. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Thanks for hanging out. More to come this beautiful Friday, and we'll see you all in the next bit.